What's a life hack that's so simple yet so effective, you're shocked more people don't know about it?
Always write down momentarily good ideas. Don't lean on your memory.
One time I was tripping on acid and had this incredible epiphany that was going to unite the whole world and solve all conflicts and bring everybody to a place of empathy and peace, and I furiously wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, and a few hours later, I finally fell asleep. I woke up the next morning and looked over at the memo pad next to my bed and saw a half-crumpled note written in frenzied, scribbled handwriting that said, "You know you were here. Yes, that's what you think, but that's what you think." Ladies and gentlemen, the secret to everything.
Years ago, my father had a dream every night where he learned the secret of life. He could remember that part in the morning, but not what the secret was. He started keeping paper by his bed so he could scribble it down, and one night he had the dream and scribbled it down, and he was so happy when he remembered it in the morning. He looked at the paper, and all he had written down was one word: chair.
To do this, I send a text to myself. Sometimes if I want to remember something in the future, I'll schedule the text to be delivered to myself on the appropriate date.
Percentages are reversible. Working out 4% of 50 will give you the same result as 50% of 4.
This is great, except I'll probably forget it whenever the time comes to have to do some quick math. Yeah, I just read that and was like, oh shit, I've already learned that once and totally forgot it. From working technical support for longer than I dare think about, most angry customers just want to be heard. Let them have their rant, do active listening, and make notes about what they're saying. They will eventually run out of steam. Then, read back everything they talked about and go through it step by step. Works almost every time, and often they are very thankful by the end of the call. Another tip, instead of asking the customer if something's plugged in, ask them to check if the plug's prongs are corroded. After they check, they'll unconsciously plug it back in.
This reminds me of how I used to trick people into remembering their passwords when I worked at a cell phone store. Take their phone, pretend I'm opening up some special password reset program, hand them their phone back, and ask them to enter their new password. And I'd say that about 70% of the time, they entered their current password and gained access. Edit. If you like this, you'll love the time I hooked up a USB barcode scanner to a phone with a broken screen, created a barcode of their password, and scanned it to unlock the phone so we could connect it to the computer to get their photos and stuff.
I work in healthcare and have learned the exact same thing. The quickest way to make an angry person angrier is cut them off. They are so upset that their brains won't interpret anything you say in a productive way until they've gotten the really important, enraging thought fully out. It's also so much easier to not talk than get into a fight with someone.
My grandmother always said that if you feel terrible, get out of bed, take a shower, do your hair and put on clothes, down to your shoes and have a good meal. Either this will fix it, or you're dressed and fed, and in a better place to deal with the problem. She was right. When I have a shitty night, crying that night, couldn't sleep, etc., and I have to do something the next morning, I take the time to put extra thought in my look that day. I don't usually wear makeup, but I will do a daytime look. I'll put something on that makes me feel cute, and I'll add one of my fancy jewelry pieces. Taking care to do things that make me feel good about my appearance tends to help me get through the day a bit better after a rough night.
If you have an itchy mosquito bite, heat up a spoon under semi-hot water, like 45-50 degrees Celsius. Dry it off and tap or press it on the bite, just as short as you can tolerate it, but also as long as possible. The heat dissolves the protein that makes the mosquito bite itch.
I have some mild allergies to God knows what that gives me. Rash on the neck and cheeks. I use the hairdryer on it until I can't handle the pain, and it stops itching for a good 8-12 hours. It feels so good, even if it burns. Edit. It's a very mild allergy that happens during spring. Probably a tree or flower, or hay. Yes, I take antihistamine. It's only for the first couple days before my body has enough of it, and it's managed. It does nothing to my skin, only the relief of not itching anymore and the redness from the heat that goes away in a couple minutes. The feeling I get towards the end when I can't tolerate the heat is almost like an orgasm. I swear I have to hold onto the door frame so my legs don't give under me.
There's a little battery-powered device you can use to do this as well. I think they call it Bite Away. It's shaped like a pen. You put the little metal tip on your bite, press a button, and it gets really hot for about 5 seconds. So hot that it makes you squeal, and you're expecting burns when you take it away, but your skin is fine and the itch is gone.
If you want a comfortable pair of high heels, invest in a pair of dance heels. Lots of beautiful designs and colors, designed to be flexible and comfortable, worth every penny. Just make sure they're not felt-soled if you plan on wearing them outdoors. A good quality pair from a company like Repetto are worth getting rubber-soled if they aren't already. Your feet will thank you. ETA. So glad some of you found this helpful. My mother has permanent foot deformation from wearing heels daily since 1977, and my discovery of wearing dance heels was born out of my desire to look elegant elegant, but avoid pain and disfigurement. This is especially good advice for brides looking for wedding shoes. I did ballroom for years and ended up using a pair of my white ballroom heels for my debutante ball when I was younger. I absolutely recommend wearing dance shoes for a wedding. They're generally pretty comfortable and are obviously built for dance floors, meaning you're not going to end up with shoes that are too sticky or too frictionless to risk dancing in all night.
When driving for long periods, turn off the recirculating air. One of the reasons you get tired in the car is not from lack of sleep, but from too much CO2 in the car. You've ever been so tired driving home, and when you get home, you're no longer tired. It's because of a lack of oxygen in the car, especially if you have passengers in the car. I was very much ready to come here with a source to prove you wrong because this sounds so impossible. Instead, I have a source proving you're absolutely right. That's wild. Thank you for this info. It was very surprising when I first found out. I was looking up sources for weeks and studying it as much as I could. I almost bought a CO2 meter to test it myself. Apparently, with no air running, your car can accumulate up to 4,000 ppm CO2, which is enough to make you function at 50% mental capacity. So people do really become idiots while driving. Fun fact, it's at 700 ppm CO2 and above where we start to see a decline in human mental function. Only like 10% decrease at 1,000 ppm, if I'm not mistaken. Humanity is on track to have 700 ppm CO2 in the atmosphere by 2100, so everyone all the time will be slightly dumber just by breathing. Anyway, fresh air is really important, and the fact that we're spending so much time inside where CO2 can build up, and the fact that latent CO2 is increasing even in fresh air, means that it's becoming harder to function at full capacity while indoors. Unfortunately, my understanding is that even houseplants don't dramatically change the game. They may absorb toxins from the air, but not enough photosynthesis occurs to impact the latent O2 levels.
Library cards are worth their weight in gold. My physical library comes with mostly for free tool rentals, laptop rentals, studio rental space, video cameras, audio equipment, 3D printer usage in the library, wood shop, sewing kits, free classes. This is with the usual book rentals. Digitally web-wise, my library card comes with digital movie checkout, Hoopla, Libby, Canopy, free subscription to Skillshare, free subscription to LinkedIn Learning, Lynda if you're old, free ebook app, free online courses, very limited though, Udemy, language learning apps, virtual workshops, along with other community events for people of all ages. Everyone should get a library card. Edit to add other prominent features mentioned. Load your library card into the Libby app for a ton of content. If you travel a lot, many libraries allow you to sign up online and check that you are in the area via phone location. Use the address where you are staying. They don't check it. The Libby app will check all the libraries attached to your account.
Never gossip, no matter how much you dislike a person. It can be really helpful, in particular at work, when that person you dislike and you consider to be dumber to actually save your ass in certain situation, rather than have him, her, as your rival. I keep receiving gossips from various colleagues about others and always pretend to never know anything, while I know lots of details, and I agree with many of these sometimes. This is really helpful in your career, being neutral and have people not being against you. Further, if you speak ill of someone behind their backs, your audience will wonder, even subconsciously, whether or not you talk about them behind their backs. Conversely, speaking positively about people behind their backs will do wonders for your social and professional life in general. Try positivity, people. Casseroles provide far more servings with far less cost and effort of many other dishes.
My husband's family never made casseroles, but they're the only thing I really knew how to cook when we got together. So I'd always make one and bring it to family events. Everyone thinks I spend hours upon hours in the kitchen making dishes, but really I basically just evenly mix the ingredients across a casserole dish and throw it in the oven. Really won my mother-in-law over when she wasn't sure about me at first. LOL. We never had these growing up, and I thought my now husband was a culinary master when he first made me one. Turns out my family are just absolutely dreadful at cooking, and they're one of the easiest things to make. Edit. Reply with your casserole recipes below if you like. I am extremely organized, except where my keys were concerned. I lost them several times a week. Then I saw the comedian John Richardson saying that people with keys are putters or leavers. I was a leaver, leaving my keys lying around, so I decided to be a putter. As soon as I get in, I put my keys straight into my bag. It seems so stupid, but it totally works and has saved me a lot of stress. My mantra is away, not down, especially good when I'm in my ADHD moments.
When looking at recipes online, click the print link. This cuts out the unnecessary backstory and random musings. You can also save the recipe as a PDF to your computer, or even just the link to the printable version. You mean to tell me after 20 years of having to read how this lasagna came to be after women, including the names, ages, and locations of 20 of them, all decided to get together at one huge party? The year was 1942, spring almost, and the Robins had just came back from that. I could have skipped all that. All that? Shut the front door. I deserve to be sent straight to jail for not knowing this. If you're making coffee in an automatic drip coffee maker, especially a cheap one, leaving a little bit of water in the carafe, about an ounce or so, will significantly improve the flavor. It prevents the first bit of brewed coffee from becoming scorched from the hot plate and flavoring the entire pot. If ordering something online, since places can fake a good review, only read the negative reviews. A bunch of complaining about shipping, damaged items, or trivial shit is good, whereas multiple broke in the first week, won't charge, or leaks mean the product is shit. When you finish a bath or shower, before toweling off, rub your hands over your body like a windshield wiper in a car to get off excess water. You brush off a ton of water, meaning there's a lot less to towel off after, and less dripping into the floor. Takes only a few seconds and keeps your bathroom from getting soaked while you dry yourself with a towel. Going to bed at a consistent time to get enough sleep, really prioritizing it. It literally makes life so much better and easier. Health improvements in every aspect, both mental and physical. People live their lives chronically underslept, and it causes all types of chaos in their lives. They think it's freedom to stay up late or go to bed whenever they want, usually covering up a cycle of revenge bedtime procrastination, but they are unbeknownst to themselves in an underslept zombie prison of their own making. I got no sleep last night between. Feel like crap. Buy a bunch of the same style and color socks and you never have to match socks again. I have a drawer with just socks, and every time I reach in and grab two, I have a pair of matching socks. Game changer.
Sick of losing socks in the laundry? Wash them in one of those mesh garment bags. I never lose them, and it's so much easier to put them away when you're only sorting through them out of the bag than across the whole pile of shirts and whatever else out of the dryer. Hack 1. When you paint a room and remove the light switch plate on the inside of the plate, write down the color of the paint you used and the brand. Great for when you need to repaint a spot a couple of years later. Hack 2. After you wash and dry a set of sheets, put the top sheet, bottom sheet, and pillowcase all inside of one of the pillowcases. Then you have the whole set together in one neat little package and don't have to look for matching sheets and pillowcases.
When walking head-on towards somebody to avoid the "are we going to crash into each other" dance, don't look at them to see where they are going. Fix your eyes over one of their shoulders, and don't waver, they will then move in the other direction.